The force of my father's hand striking the dining table caught me off guard. The crystal salt container tumbled, scattering white crystals across the polished wood like scattered snowflakes. My palm automatically finds my belly, still unchanged, showing no evidence of the tiny life within. The Sunday roast grows cold on our finest dishes, no longer steaming from the vegetables beside it. 48 hours to vacate this home, Father declares, his tone sharp and precise from 2 decades of military service. He adjusts his shirt collar as though preparing for a formal review, or keep your scheduled appointment at the Denver medical facility. Mother presses a cloth napkin to her tears. What will our congregation think? She murmurs, staring at the landscape painting over the mantel instead of looking at me. Patricia Johnston's girl just announced her engagement to that wonderful dental surgeon. And here we are with you. The dining space feels cramped suddenly, the walls seeming to close in. The overhead light reflects off Mother's pearl jewelry as she continues, shaking her head in dismay. I attempt to swallow, but my throat constricts. Rosalind, enough, Father snaps, as though her emotional response is merely another inconvenience to manage. My sister Maeve remains motionless, maintaining the rigid posture Mother drilled into us both. Flawless bearing, exceptional academics, flawless Maeve. I observe her knuckles whitening as she grips her drinking glass, the sole indication this family crisis touches her at all. The previous morning replays in my thoughts like old film footage. Dr. Winter's clinic, with its soft-colored walls and worn periodicals. Her tone compassionate yet direct. Given your specific reproductive condition, you must understand that ending this pregnancy could permanently eliminate your ability to bear children. The statement had stolen my breath. I'd always envisioned motherhood eventually. Simply not at this moment. Not at 19. Not while single and dependent on my parents. Not with Colin, who'd ceased returning my calls after I'd spoken the word pregnant. I glanced toward the living room shelves where Father showcases Maeve's medical textbooks. My daughter, the future physician, he tells guests, never acknowledging my photography grant or the recognition my portrait collection earned last spring. My artwork displays in the school exhibition, yet finds no space on our family walls. I cannot comply with your demand, I state, my voice barely audible. I clear my throat and speak again, firmer this time. Not when it means I may never become a mother. Father's complexion darkens, a blood vessel throbbing at his temple. Then you've decided your path. You are no longer my daughter. The declaration cuts through me like a knife. Yet something unexpected occurs. My trembling hands grow steady. The shaking that began when I sat for dinner and announced, "I need to share something with you," suddenly stops. An odd peace settles over me, as though my body understands what my mind is still processing. I've been banished. I push my chair back and rise. The dining room falls quiet except for Mother's muffled weeping. I turn toward the staircase, toward my bedroom, and the belongings I must fit into whatever luggage I can manage. Maeve follows, her steps quiet on the carpeted stairs. In my room, I retrieve my travel bag from the closet, the same one from our Yellowstone vacation 3 summers past. I was Father's hiking companion then, deserving of his smiles and approval. Maeve stands in the doorway, arms folded. You could still reconsider, she suggests, making no move to assist as I begin removing clothes from hangers. Would you? I ask without looking up. She remains silent. I fold a sweater with mechanical precision, placing it in the suitcase. Then another. And another. My photography collection rests against the desk, too large to pack, too valuable to abandon. I'll need to carry it separately. With each item I pack, the reality solidifies. I'm not merely losing my residence. I'm losing my position in this family. The identity I've maintained for 19 years. Daughter, sister, honor student, church volunteer. All conditional roles, apparently dependent on my ability to make choices my parents endorse. Maeve observes silently as I move through the room, gathering fragments of my existence. I understand now she won't intervene, won't speak for me. Her allegiance has boundaries, and I've crossed the line separating the acceptable from the expelled. The truth strikes me like a physical blow. Their love has always been conditional. I simply never tested those conditions until today. The following day, I nearly drop my phone as a text notification appears. Not from Colin, who hasn't responded in days, but from Maeve. I tap to open it, expecting supportive words or, at least, compassion. Instead, I see a screenshot, a conversation between Maeve and Colin. Your sister needs to handle this situation. I'm not prepared for fatherhood. The room spins. My stomach lurches as understanding hits. They've been communicating behind my back. My legs give way, and I barely reach the bathroom before vomiting into the toilet. The bitter taste of betrayal burns worse than the bile. Kneeling on the cold tile floor, I scroll through additional messages. Dates spanning months. Intimate nicknames, private jokes. My sister and my boyfriend. No, not just my boyfriend. The father of my child. I wipe my mouth with shaking fingers and pull myself up using the sink for support. In the mirror, my face appears pale, almost ghostly. The person staring back seems like a stranger whose life has just collapsed twice in 24 hours. When I return to my bedroom, Maeve stands in the doorway, watching me fold shirts into my suitcase. Something about her stance seems different now. Not just distant, but guarded. She clutches her phone against her chest like armor. You discovered it, she states. Not a question. I continue folding, my movements automatic. How long? Maeve enters the room, but keeps her distance. Since February. 5 months. While I was attending additional photography classes. While I was assisting mother with church fundraisers. While I was falling in love with Colin, he was also seeing my sister. Did you know about my pregnancy when you encouraged me to tell mom and dad? The words taste metallic in my mouth. Maeve looks at the ceiling, then the floor, anywhere but at me. Colin informed me 2 weeks ago. We discussed alternatives. Alternatives? The word hangs between us like poison. Be practical. You're 19 with no employment, no degree. How will you raise a child? She steps forward, towering over me as I sit surrounded by half-packed belongings. Consider your scholarship, your future. My future. I laugh, but it sounds more like crying. The future where my sister betrays me with my boyfriend while scheming about my inconvenient pregnancy. Maeve flinches. It wasn't planned that way. Then how is it? I stand, needing to feel less diminished in this conversation. We didn't intend to harm you. Her voice softens with rehearsed sympathy, the same tone she uses when volunteering at the hospital. Things developed between us naturally. And then when he learned about your pregnancy, things developed naturally. I repeat flatly. For 5 months. My shoulders straighten, her perfect posture returning along with her conviction. Colin and I share a connection. We want similar things. Medical school, careers, appropriate timing for a family. The complete weight of her betrayal crashes down. Not just an affair, a total replacement. Maeve would be the suitable girlfriend. The one with ambitions matching his. The one who wouldn't get inconveniently pregnant. Leave, I whisper. Get out. She backs toward the door, but pauses at the threshold. Mom and Dad are correct, you know. This pregnancy will destroy everything you've worked toward. After she departs, I sit heavily on my bed, hand instinctively covering my stomach. Reality settles around me like dust. I have $267 in my savings account. No job. Nowhere to go. I remember what my school counselor told Anna Peterson when she became pregnant last year. Girls like you rarely complete high school, much less college. Her voice had been kind but final, like delivering a medical diagnosis. My gaze falls on my photography portfolio, leaning against the desk, the award-winning series that earned me a partial scholarship to State University. Pictures I captured of abandoned buildings reclaimed by nature. Beauty emerging from destruction. How ironic that now seems. I flip through the pages, wondering if this is all that will remain of my dreams. Images frozen in time, capturing a future that will never materialize. As I close the portfolio, a small white rectangle flutters to the floor. A business card. I pick it up, running my thumb over the raised lettering. Janice Thorne, Interior Design. On the back, handwritten in blue ink. If you ever need me, call. No questions asked. Aunt Janice, Mom's younger sister, who moved to Idaho years ago after some family disagreement nobody discusses. I met her only once, when I was 14. She had embraced me too tightly, her perfume smelling of sandalwood, and slipped this card into my hand when nobody was watching. I stare at the 10 digits of her phone number as the house creaks and settles around me. Through the wall, I hear my parents' muffled voices in their bedroom, father's deep rumble, mother's softer responses. As I hold Aunt Janice's card in my trembling hands, I wonder if reaching out to family I barely know is safer than remaining where I'm unwanted. Would you risk the unknown or attempt to change minds that seem already decided? I check the time. 11:42 p.m. Not too late to call, not too late to discover if no questions asked was a genuine offer or just empty words. My finger hovers over the numbers, ready to dial. The next morning, I wake to the sound of my father's voice on the phone in his study, the words drifting up through the heating vent like toxic smoke. The digital clock on my nightstand reads 6:42 a.m. Yes, Robert. I'm afraid Elwyn will be taking a leave of absence for health reasons. Father's voice carries the same tone he uses when announcing budget cuts at faculty meetings. We'd appreciate your discretion in handling this matter. My stomach twists. I'm uncertain if it's morning sickness or the realization that father is already erasing me from the world beyond our walls. Robert, the school principal and father's racquetball partner for 15 years. I press my ear against the floor vent, catching fragments as father continues. The photography scholarship application? Yes, perhaps best to set that aside for now. The air vanishes from my lungs. For years of portfolio building, of staying awake until 2 in the morning, perfecting prints in the school darkroom, dismantled in a single phone call, my future stolen without my knowledge or consent. I pull myself from the floor and sit on the edge of my bed, hands shaking as I reach for the water glass on my nightstand. The sound of mother's voice drifts up the stairs now, her telephone voice with its practiced warmth. Patricia, would you add Ellen to the prayer chain? We're facing quite a family crisis. A pause. No, I cannot reveal specifics, but the divine sees into our souls. Before evening falls, every congregant at Riverton Community Church will learn that something dreadful has befallen the Price household. The gossip will ignite and consume our tight-knit community, and I will be reduced to cinders in its path. My phone chimes with a message. Colin. Following 3 days of radio silence, can we discuss this? I've been contemplating. 20 minutes pass before I find myself standing in the garden, phone against my ear. Dawn's moisture penetrates my house shoes. The cold air serves as a reminder that the harsh season approaches and I lack shelter. I can secure you $800, Colin states bluntly. My relative in Denver has connections. A physician warned me that ending this pregnancy might destroy my chances of ever conceiving again. I speak, maintaining composure despite tears streaming down my face. That's your burden to bear, Ellie. I'm unprepared for fatherhood. His tone becomes harsh. Accept the funds or decline. The decision is yours. Background noise reaches me, voices, laughter, music. He's celebrating while my existence crumbles. Did you ever truly care for me? The question escapes my lips unbidden. The connection ends abruptly. My attempts to reconnect lead straight to voicemail. I discover he's blocked me across all social platforms. In an instant, Colin Hargrove has obliterated 3 years of my existence as effortlessly as erasing a digital image. Returning to my bedroom, waves of nausea overwhelm me. My body feels leaden as I attempt to organize my belongings. Every garment I fold holds a cherished memory I must abandon. School formals, nature walks, family retreats to the lakeside cabin where I mastered water skiing while father applauded from the dock. I lean against my dresser's cool surface, battling another dizzy spell. Once it subsides, I force myself to plan strategically. Father stores vital documents in his fireproof vault. Birth records, identification cards, insurance papers. I wait for mother's departure to her weekly salon appointment. The lock combination remains unchanged since my 12th birthday, my parents' wedding date, 0514. Within, I locate my birth certificate nestled between policy documents, my identification card in a manila folder, and my academic transcripts filed under scholarly achievements. These papers validate my existence. They prove I once had a place here. With trembling hands, I slip them into my backpack alongside a photo collection and savings accumulated from gifts and summer employment. I retrieve Aunt Janice's contact card from my wallet. The family rebel who relocated to Idaho following an argument so epic that it remains unspoken. Her handwritten message reads, "Should you ever require assistance, contact me. No inquiries necessary." I've never accepted her offer. Never had cause until this moment. She responds immediately. Janice Thorne speaking. Aunt Janice, this is Ellen. My voice falters. A pause follows then. I've anticipated your call for years, sweetheart. Her voice radiates warmth. I haven't heard from you in ages. Tell me your needs. I must depart. My parents have granted me 48 hours to leave, or I cannot complete the statement. Read and I will arrive by dawn, she responds without pause. Gather what's important. We'll manage everything else. That evening, thirst drives me to the kitchen at midnight. The house rests in silence, except for the refrigerator's hum. I fill a glass with water. My hand moves instinctively to my abdomen, a protective gesture that's become second nature. You'll rue this decision forever. I nearly drop the glass, spinning to find Mother in the doorway, her silk robe secured at the waist, her face bare of cosmetics. She appears older without her carefully applied facade. This pregnancy will destroy your future, Ellen. Why can't you understand we're attempting to shield you? The water trembles in my grasp. You're not shielding me, I respond, surprised by my steady voice. You're protecting yourselves from having to justify me. Mother recoils as if struck. We've provided you with everything, except autonomy over my choices. The truth settles deep within me, suddenly clear. Your affection has always carried conditions. I simply never failed to satisfy them. Until now. For the first time, I witness uncertainty cross her features. I step past her and ascend the stairs, spine straight, shoulders squared. I don't require their blessing to value my own decisions. This realization lifts a burden I've carried so long I'd forgotten its weight. Aunt Janice and Uncle Reed arrive as dawn breaks over the peaks. Their vehicle enters our driveway just as the paper carrier delivers the morning edition. The symbolism strikes me, news from beyond arriving with my escape route. Uncle Reed envelopes me in a bear hug scented with pine and coffee. We've got you, kiddo. They assist in loading my possessions, suitcases, backpack, and photography portfolio into their truck while my parents observe silently from the entrance. Aunt Janice listens as I express my anxieties between trips. She offers no empty reassurances or criticism, simply nods and poses thoughtful questions. What if I'm incapable of this? I whisper while carrying the final box. You're already succeeding, she responds simply. Once everything's loaded, I stand at the porch base. Father gazes beyond me toward the horizon, as if I've already vanished. For the first time, I meet his stare directly rather than studying the floor when he speaks. This isn't how I raised you, he states flatly.
No, y concur.
This is how I'm raising myself. As I enter the truck, Aunt Janice reveals they've saved $18,000 to help restart my life. It was intended for our own child, she explains as Uncle Reed navigates my childhood streets for the final time. But certain things aren't destined. We believe this money discovered its true purpose. Uncle Reed adjusts his mirror. I'm employed at Treasure Valley Community College. We'll arrange your enrollment for spring semester if desired. We cross into Idaho shortly after noon. My phone buzzes with Maeve's message. Mom and Dad have prohibited speaking your name in this house. I stare at the text until the screen darkens. Then I power down my phone and observe the changing scenery. Behind us, my childhood mountains shrink in the distance. Ahead, unknown territory extends toward an invisible horizon. I balance my accounting ledger on my expanding belly, squinting at the numerical columns. 6 months pregnant, and every cent requires purpose. Rent, $675. Utilities, $93.42. Prenatal supplements, $24.99. Bus pass, $45. The arithmetic of survival allows no margin for error. You're still calculating. Aunt Janice places herbal tea beside me at the kitchen table. It's nearly midnight, Community college registration begins tomorrow. I tap my pencil against next month's projected expenses. I need precise knowledge of my capabilities. She examines my careful columns and sticky note reminders of upcoming bills. I can assist with the application fee. You've done plenty. I close the ledger, hands automatically moving to my aching lower back. I've saved enough for 2 courses this semester. Janice observes me with that expression. Part pride, part concern. Your ankles are swelling again. I don't dispute it. My body records every 12-hour shift at Juniper's table diner, every night hunched over textbooks. But it's a modest price for independence. The call arrives 3 weeks later during the breakfast rush. Manager Gloria waves the cordless phone from behind the counter, mouthing important. Ellen speaking, I say, ducking into the narrow hallway by the restrooms. This is Treasure Valley Community College. The official-sounding voice begins. Regarding your first semester performance, my heart plummets. Between morning sickness and double shifts, I'd missed 2 psychology quizzes. Congratulations on achieving the dean's list. Your professors specifically commended your childhood development research paper. I lean against the wall, suddenly lightheaded. Thank you. I manage before ending the call. That evening, I tape the official letter to the refrigerator, a small triumph, but mine. The phone rings again the following morning. This time, Janice answers. She no longer resides here, she states firmly. Then her expression hardens. No, Rosalind, I'm not enabling anything. I'm supporting an extraordinary young woman working harder than anyone I know. I freeze in the doorway, heart pounding. Mother's voice, tiny but unmistakable, filters through the receiver. You and Elliot have a history of discarding children who don't conform to your flawless image, Janice continues, knuckles whitening around the phone. First Dorian now, Ellen. Dorian. The name strikes me physically. Don't contact us again unless you're prepared to apologize. Janice disconnects, turning to find me standing there. Who is Dorian? I ask, barely audible. Janice's expression shifts from anger to resignation. She motions toward the living room sofa. Your brother. Your parents' firstborn. I don't have a brother. But even as I speak, I feel the words emptiness. You were too young to remember when they disowned him. He was 17 when he revealed he was gay. Janice sits beside me, taking my trembling hands. They erased him just as they're attempting to erase you. The pieces align. Family photographs with odd spacing on the wall, the Christmas ornament with an unfamiliar initial I'd once discovered in the attic, father's visceral reaction whenever Uncle Reed mentioned his partner. They've been rehearsing this rejection for years, I whisper. Janice nods. Family shame is their expertise. When my son Ezra finally arrives and is placed in my arms, I contemplate sending birth announcement to my parents. Would extending an olive branch heal our family, or merely provide another rejection opportunity? I decide instead to focus on what I can construct rather than what I've lost. Over the following 3 years, Janice and Reed convert their attic loft into a proper nursery. They locate a second-hand crib at a church sale, paint the walls soft green, and hang curtains matching the tiny quilted blanket Reed's mother sends from Minnesota. We've been preserving this space, Janice tells me, showing the small dresser they've refinished. Sometimes the family you need discovers you when you least expect it. Their support enables me to attend classes while working. When Ezra begins walking, Gloria at the diner adjusts my schedule to match daycare hours. Professor Winters permits me to bring Ezra to office hours when my babysitter cancels. On the day I receive my associate's degree, with 3-year-old Ezra applauding wildly from Reed's shoulders, I feel my new life's foundation solidifying beneath me. Maeve's unexpected call comes on a Tuesday afternoon.
Elle.
Her voice sounds smaller than I remember. It's me. 3 years of silence. Then this. I heard you have a son. She continues when I don't respond. What's his name? Ezra. I win the phone cord around my finger, watching my son stack blocks on the living room carpet. He's 3. Does he resemble you?
A pause.
Mom and Dad don't know I'm calling. Why are you calling, Maeve? She doesn't answer directly. Dad's campaigning for state senate on a family values platform. I nearly laugh at the irony. Later that evening, Janice finds me sorting through old photographs. I need to tell you something, she says, sitting across from me. I know how to contact Dorian Maddox, your brother. I look up sharply. Maddox. He changed his surname. He lives in Seattle now. He's an author. I hold her gaze, feeling something shift inside me. The beginning of a new chapter. A month later, I spot them before they notice me. Father's military straight posture and mother's pearls gleaming beneath the pendant lights of the Juniper Mountain Resort lobby. Years of silence shattered by their unexpected appearance. My hands freeze on the guest registration tablet.
Ellen.
Father's voice carries familiar authority, though his smile seems forced. You appear well. Mother clutches her purse with white knuckles, her gaze darting around the elegant lobby as if seeking escape routes. We hope to catch you during your break. My coworker Talia gives me a questioning look. I hand her the tablet. Cover for me. 20 minutes. I lead them to a quiet restaurant corner, my heels clicking against marble floors. Not the trembling teenager they last saw, but the assistant manager who walks these halls with earned authority. What brings you to Boise after all these years? I ask, remaining standing while they sit. Father clears his throat. I'm campaigning for state senate. He straightens his tie. Family values platform. Mother produces a tissue-thin smile. We've come with a proposal. Family counseling sessions. Presenting a united front during the campaign. Just a few appearances, Father adds. The voters appreciate reconciliation narratives. And naturally, Mother says, her voice dropping to a whisper, we're prepared to offer substantial financial support for Ezra. I supply. Your grandson's name is Ezra. Father leans forward, his voice hardening. Allowing certain family histories to become public could damage everyone. Your brother Dorian already published that exposé book. We cannot afford another scandal. The threat sits between us, as tangible as the tables separating us. You need me, I say, understanding washing over me like cool water. You're not here to reconcile. You're here to control the narrative. Father's jaw tightens. We're here to assist you as well. What's your salary here? 30,000? We can improve on that. I reach for my purse, removing my wallet. When I departed, I possessed $267. I slide out a business card, placing it before them. I'm the assistant manager now. $49,500 annually, plus benefits. And I'm engaged to Silas. You'd appreciate him if you bothered to know him. I unlock my phone, revealing my background image. Ezra in his baseball uniform, grinning with his front tooth missing. He's an honor roll student who loves dinosaurs and baseball. I swipe to photos of a modest 2-story home with blue shutters. We close on this next month. 3 bedrooms. Excellent school district. Mother's eyes widen slightly. Father's mouth forms a tight line. I don't need your approval or your money, I say, my voice steady. I built this life without you. Father stands. You've made your point, but consider our offer. Families should remain united, especially publicly. Like you remained united with Dorian? I ask. Or me? His face reddens. That situation was different. No, it wasn't. It was exactly identical. They leave with promises to call tomorrow after I've reconsidered. I watch them cross the lobby, Mother's hand trembling on Father's arm. That evening I text Dorian. They visited me. Senate Campaign Damage Control. His response comes immediately. My book launches next week. Riverton Community Center.
Come.
The week passes in a blur of preparations. Silas keeps Ezra for the weekend while I drive back to my hometown for the first time in 7 years. Main Street appears smaller somehow. The mountains beyond remain magnificent, but less imposing than in my memory. Dorian's event fills the community center. I recognize faces from church, school, neighborhood, people who'd whispered behind my parents' backs but never offered assistance when I needed it. Father and Mother sit in the front row. Perfect posture. Perfect smiles. Perfect pretense. Halfway through his reading, Dorian looks up from his memoir. I'd like to introduce someone special, my sister, Ellen Price. A ripple of whispers sweeps the room as he gestures toward me. Father half rises, but camera flashes from local news teams block the exits. Mother sinks lower in her seat. I walk to the stage on legs that somehow don't tremble. Dorian places his arm around my shoulders. Ellen and I share more than parents. We share the experience of being discarded when we became inconvenient to the Price family image. The microphone feels cool against my palm when he hands it to me. I look directly at my parents. When I was 19 and pregnant, my father gave me 48 hours to terminate my pregnancy or leave. I left because the procedure might have left me unable to ever have children again, something my parents knew but ignored. Father stands now, face flushed. This is a private family matter.
No, Dorian interrupts.
It ceased being private when you based your campaign on family values while having discarded 2 of your children. I continue, voice calm. Our family has a pattern. When Dorian came out as gay at 17, he was sent away. When I refused to abort my son, I was expelled. Both times, the Price family image mattered more than their children. The cameras capture everything. Father's rigid back as he finally pushes past reporters toward the exit. Mother's tearful collapse into her seat. The perfect family facade crumbling on local news. Father's campaign implodes 2 days later. Back in my hotel room in Boise, my phone buzzes with news alerts. Senate candidate Elliot Price resigns from campaign and principal position amid family scandal. Another text arrives from Colin, also silent for years. I've separated from Jessica. I'd like to meet Ezra sometime. I set the phone down, hands shaking with a mixture of anger and vindication. A soft knock at the door interrupts my thoughts. When I open it, Maeve stands there, her perfect posture finally broken. Tears stream down her face, carving tracks through her makeup. I didn't know where else to go, she whispers. I stand in the doorway, caught between the impulse to embrace her and the memory of her betrayal, wondering if truth can heal what it first destroys. Years later, I finally constructed my life as I desired it. At present, the aroma of grilled burgers mingles with children's laughter in our backyard. I adjust the checkered tablecloth before arranging another platter of corn on the cob. This gathering feels nothing like the Sunday dinners of my childhood. No crystal salt shakers to topple, no suffocating silence. Need any assistance, Elle? Silas asks, flipping a burger with expert precision. His smile still makes my heart skip after 5 years of marriage. Just enjoying the view, I answer, watching Ezra chase his 4-year-old sister Lily through the sprinkler. Their squeals rise above the country music playing from our patio speakers. When Colin's parents arrive 15 minutes early, as usual, I meet them at the gate. Margaret's arms overflow with wrapped packages. We brought a few things for the children, she says, eyes pleading for approval. I accept the gifts with a smile, but set clear boundaries. Thank you. But remember our agreement. Visits on holidays and birthdays only.